Yeah, if you're looking for a desktop-like performance with gaming on the go, then you're going to love the Razer Blade Pro. Hey, that rhymes. Hello guys, how are you? David and Franco here from thefrancogaming.com, which will auto-forward you to my Twitch channel. Follow me, I appreciate it. So today's video is all about my Razer Blade Pro review, which just happens to be my first ever true gaming laptop. Up until previously, I've never owned a true gaming laptop before. I've gamed on desktops, I've gamed on consoles, I've gamed on portable consoles, but never actually a laptop, so this has been a very interesting experience for me. Okay, so before we begin, I just want to remind you guys of Razer's Holiday Hit List 2017 promo that has been going on for, well, a little while now. You can actually save a few $100s on Razer gaming laptops, so just check out the link right below to start saving. Alright, so the Razer Blade Pro, let's talk about the specs first. Usually I say specs don't typically matter with a product review. However, with a gaming laptop, specs definitely matter. So, listen up, here we go. Okay, so the Razer Blade Pro has a quad-core 7th generation Intel Core i7 CPU, 16 gigabytes of dual-channel RAM, which is upgradable, 256 gigabytes of storage in terms of a PCIe SSD, as well as a 2 terabyte hard drive. Okay, so talking about graphics, and obviously graphics are what matter most aside from the CPU itself, we have an NVIDIA GeForce 1060 GPU, which by the way is a GTX 10 series GPU, meaning it's up to 3 times more powerful than previous generations. Let's talk about virtual reality. Now, unfortunately, I've not tried VR myself, like true VR on a PC, but I am happy to say this, the Razer Blade Pro is fully VR ready, meaning it's going to bring you low latency and plug-and-play compatibility. We've got a 17.3-inch 1920 by 1080 120 Hz display, which by the way is matte, not glossy. And guys, honestly, I think that's amazing in itself. Not that I have anything against glossy displays, but to use a notebook that actually has a matte display, I think it's incredible. This means that you're going to get true colors, not overly saturated colors, and of course, next to no reflection, which I think is great. Okay, so let's talk about I/O. In other words, input, output. With a gaming laptop, you might expect plenty of I/O, right? Well, of course, in the Razer Blade Pro, definitely delivers in this category. We've got Thunderbolt 3, which can also act as USB-C, 3 USB 3.0 ports, HDMI 2.0, an SD-XC card reader, a 2 megapixel webcam, and finally your standard 3.5mm headphones jack. Alright, so in terms of internet, what does the Razer Blade Pro have to offer? Well, I'm happy to say this, it pretty much covers all the bases. In terms of Wi-Fi, we have 802.11a, b, g, n, and ac, Bluetooth 4.1, and finally, gigabit Ethernet. Now, if you're serious about gaming, you're likely going to go the Ethernet route, but for more Ethernet-free environments, well then Wi-Fi should be just fine. Okay, so there's a lot to say about the Razer Blade Pro, so I encourage you, post your questions right below, and I'll do my best to answer those questions with my own answers. So, for this video, I'm going to talk about what I like most about the Razer Blade Pro, and then we'll take it from there. The keyboard itself feels quite comfortable to type on. It's not exactly mechanical on this Razer Blade Pro, but I believe if you go for the 4K edition, then you get a low profile mechanical keyboard. However, with that said, the keyboard on the 1080p model, which is this one, yeah, I mean, it just feels great. You get plenty of travel and it's responsive. Now, in terms of the trackpad, which is right aligned, this is my first notebook that I've ever used with the trackpad on the right side of the notebook. While it took some getting used to, it's just that you're gonna get used to it within 5 to 10 minutes of usage. But of course, let's talk about the important stuff here, guys. RGB. If you own anything like Razer like I do, then you might think right off the bat, lights. Razer loves lights, as do I. And I am so happy to say that this notebook just looks incredible, especially in the dark. We have a ton of different light options and animations and patterns and all that good stuff in both the keyboard as well as the trackpad. So if lights are your thing, you are going to love the Razer Blade Pro. It is a light show. That's the best way to explain it. And of course, all this takes place within the Razer Synapse software. Also, it's worth mentioning that you can instantly adjust the volume using the little scroll wheel located above the trackpad. Alright, so the keyboard aside, the trackpad aside, lights aside, and I hate saying lights aside because I could talk about lights in an entire video, seriously I could. What really matters at the end of this day is performance. How does the Razer Blade Pro perform in terms of gaming? Okay, so I'm just gonna say this. The GTX 1060 on the Razer Blade Pro, it performs beautifully. Guys, I'm talking about PUBG, ultra settings, 1080p resolution. We've got solid frame rates, insane draw distance, sharp textures. The game just looks great overall. But guys, you know what? Why talk about it when I can just show you? Check out some gameplay footage of various games. Let's talk about audio. I will say the audio is surprisingly loud on this notebook. Take a listen. Storage. Let's talk about storage, because what kind of gamer doesn't want more storage? Because, well, let's face it, more storage equals more games, does it not? And guys, that is definitely the case with the Razer Blade Pro. We've got a 256GB PCI Express SSD. We also have a 2TB hard drive. So between 256GB SSD and a 2TB hard drive, you've got plenty of storage to work with. Now, in terms of build quality, I do have a few things to say about this because I'm definitely big on build quality. First of all, I'll say this. It's a huge laptop. This thing is massive. Look at this. It is an absolute beast. But then again, this is a desktop-like experience on the go, so of course, you can expect a huge screen. Again, it's a 17.3-inch fully HD display, 120 Hz, and matte. Don't forget, this is not glossy. this is matte, which is really nice. The fan noise can be a little loud at times and mildly distracting, but you gotta keep in mind, we're working with GTX 1060 graphics here. So yes, if you're gonna get insane gaming performance, a small trade-off is a little bit of fan noise, and heat for that matter. This thing does get quite warm, but then again, I don't see myself playing games on my lap all that often. Just be sure to plug in that power adapter, because the battery life, I think you'll get about 2 hours of gaming. However, you can get a few hours of normal usage. And finally, the last thing I want to talk about today in regards to the Razer Blade Pro and the things I like about it, and while I kind of mentioned this before, but I think it's worth saying again because in my eyes, it's a major selling point. The Razer Blade Pro, it's a desktop on the go. So yes, if you're traveling, you're not really sacrificing all that much in terms of performance. You're basically taking a desktop in a notebook form factor, which I think is really cool. However, don't forget to connect the mouse because honestly speaking, I don't think you can get a lot of gaming done on a trackpad. I mean, it's nice, it's big, it works well. So yes, just plug in a Razer mouse, plug in the 165 watt power supply, and you are good to go. So there you go. There is my review of the Razer Blade Pro. There is still so much more to say. So once again, I encourage you, post your questions right below and I'll give you my honest feedback. But of course, there is one more thing that I have to mention. Check out Razer's Holiday Hit List 2017. It's linked right below. Go there and save up to $350 on Razer gaming laptops. And guys, come on, let's face it, Christmas is right around the corner, so act now before it's too late. And I think that's it for my Razer Blade Pro coverage. I pretty much covered everything that I want to talk about today, but of course, don't forget to post those questions right below, and I'll do my best to answer those questions right away. And finally, a huge thank you to Razer for sending this my way. I greatly appreciate it. Razer did indeed sponsor this video, and well, that just means a lot to me. It's just perfect timing because Christmas is practically here. So yeah, I'm just glad I got this in before 2018. This is a great way to close out 2017 in my opinion. So that's it, Razer Blade Pro. It's been fun. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Peace.